Here.
Ms. Polly is here also. Mrs. Garner?
Here.
Right here. Mrs. Wagstaff?
Here.
Mr. Edwards?
Here. Okay, at this time, I'll ask for nominations for the school board chairman position.
I nominate Dale Sturtevant.
And I'll nominate Sandra Tanner.
Okay, I'll let Dale Sturtevant. Did you get that, Sharon?
Mrs. Polly nominated Bill Ferguson.
And Mr.
And Mr. Edwards seconded.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll nominate Sandra Tanner.
All right, at this point, is there any discussion? Those in favor of Dale Sturtevant, please raise your hand. Those in favor of Sandra Tanner, please raise your hand.
I'd like to thank those who supported me and coming for the fair, for those who didn't, I hope that we can do something. And that we will be able to work together. I don't think that I know it all. I'm sure I'll make some mistakes along the way, but I will definitely talk to Mr. Pereira for years to get some guidance and what he's done and his support as well for what he's done. I want to thank the people in Hilltown for their service. Okay. Do I hear a nomination for vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Dale Sturtevant for vice chairman.
I second.
Did you get that? Anyone else? Okay. Do I hear a second?
I'll second
Okay. All those in favor of Dale Sturtevant as vice chair, please raise your hand. Okay. All those in favor of Deborah Smiley as vice chair, please raise your hand. 5-4, Deborah Smiley will be the vice chair. I didn't know I had to bring my little thing.
I've never been on this side of the room. On this side. Nice over here. I don't know what the hell ratchet it up.
That's pretty, that's yours.
Sure is.
Okay.
It's not sure nobody get me reviewed.
I don't think that's happening.
Me either.
Okay.
This your Miss Mama?
Yes, sir. I don't need it at the moment. I can get it later.
Do I hear a motion that Sharon Shuttleworth be appointed as clerk of the school board?
I move that she be appointed.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay, code of conduct for the school board clerk. We have to adopt this. The code of conduct for the school board clerk, is that what?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. As school board clerk, you will strive to be an advocate for students, improve public education, and demonstrate appropriate behavior and conduct as the school board clerk. The code of conduct is attached and in your minutes. Do I hear a motion that we adopt this?
I move that we adopt the code of conduct for the school board clerk.
Do I hear a second? Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of adopting the code of conduct for the school board clerk, raise your right hand. All opposed?
Abstain.
Okay.
Abstain.
That's 2 abstain, 2 against, and 5 for. Okay, for parliamentarian, do I hear a motion or a motion for the parliamentarian for the school board? A nomination?
Mr. Sturman? I decline.
I nominate Mr. Bullock then.
Second.
Okay. Anyone else? Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of Mr. Bullock being parliamentarian, please raise your right hand. All opposed?
Abstain.
Superintendent's designee. Do I hear a motion that Tracy Rogers be elected as designee to sign official correspondence for the superintendent in the superintendent's absence?
I move that Tracy Rogers be designated as the person to sign in the superintendent's absence.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah. What if Tracy Rogers is absent? We've always had 2, right?
You can have
We can add another?
You can.
How about Dr. Majette?
That's fine. It's probably
So-
smart because sometimes
Yeah, I make a motion
they
that,
have to sign something.
that Dr. Majette also be a designee to sign in the checking in the superintendent's absence.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor with a second and the discussion, so we need to amend this motion to add Dr. Majette to this. So do I hear a motion that we add Dr. Majette along with Tracy Rogers as a designee?
I move that we do.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of the amended motion, please signify by raising your right hand. Okay, all opposed? All right. Okay, the superintendent designee for meeting attendance.
Don't we have to vote on the original amendment?
I
We
think-
voted on the amended, but don't we?
Okay, I think you're right.
Okay.
Okay, so we vote on the, now do I hear a motion that we vote on the original amendment that was for Tracy,
As
only,
amended.
as amended?
I move that we vote on the original motion with Dr. Majette added.
Thank you, Ms. Corner. Do I hear a second? All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. I have my notes right here from the parliamentary procedure. I thank you for bringing that up, or bringing that to my attention. Keep me straight, Ms. Garner.
I'll try.
Do I hear a motion that Tracy Rogers or Dr. Majette be approved as designee for the division superintendent to attend meetings of the school board in the absence or inability of the superintendent to attend?
I move that Dr. Majette and Tracy be approved as designee for the superintendent to attend meetings of the school board in absence or inability of the superintendent.
Second.
All right. All in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed? Okay. Governor School, do I hear a nomination for someone to serve as delegate on the Regional Governor School Joint Board of Control, and for an alternate, and for nominations for an alternate to also serve?
Mrs. Garner to serve. Have no suggestion for an alternate.
Make a motion, John Wagstaff serve as alternate.
Okay, wait a minute. Yeah, one at a time, okay, all right. On the original, on the motion that Ms. Garner serve as delegate for the Regional Governor School, do I hear a second for that?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of that, please raise your right hand. All opposed? Okay. Now, do I hear a motion for an alternate?
Make a motion that Ms. Wagstaff serve as the alternate.
Do I- Okay. Do I hear any, is there any discussion? All in favor of Ms. Wagstaff serving as the alternate, please raise your right hand. All opposed? Okay. You've seen the meeting dates and times listed, and note that December 14th of 2015 is on the second Monday and not the third Monday. Do I hear a motion that we adopt the meeting dates and times? Do I hear a motion that we adopt the meeting dates and times as posted, with closed meetings beginning at 6 and open public meetings beginning at 7? Meetings will be held at the school board office in Boyden.
Motion to approve.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? Code of conduct for the school board members. As a member of my local school board, I will pledge to honor and uphold these principles, ever conscious that public office is a public trust. After the vote, all school board members who vote yes to adopt shall sign the original code of conduct. You've read it. Do I hear a motion that we accept the code of conduct?
I move that we accept the code of conduct for school board members.
Do I hear a second? Okay, so there's a second, and then we want discussion. Okay. Okay, so there's discussion.
I'd like to make a motion to amend, add a couple things. I know a lot of school boards take the VSBA code of conduct and add that to it. Arlington, really like two things they added to theirs, I'd like to add to ours. It's two promises. One is, I will make decisions based on available facts and independent judgment, use disagreement judgment to individuals or special interest groups. And I will not address differences in opinion in a manner that could create dissension or polarization in the organization or undermine a decision of the majority.
Is that both of them? I believe Ms. Wagstaff sent them out to the members to read over. So do I hear a motion that we amend the code of conduct to add those two things?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay.
This is a VSBA code of conduct. That's the one
The one on the thing is, yes.
recommended.
Yeah. And she would like to add these other two.
So the second one that you read, the way I read it on the email, is that if the minority does not agree with the majority, we have to sit here and be quiet about it?
Oh, no.
Or read it again?
No, not,
Read?
The people that agree to it.
Well, I'm saying, read it again, that's what it's saying. If the minority does not agree with the majority, we can't dissent.
no, you can dissent, you vote, and then you, see, what, everyone votes and then defends their vote. But then it's done, then it's a board decision after that, after the vote has taken place. So you vote yea or nay, and you be able to tell your constituents why you voted or didn't vote for it. But then it is a board policy at that time, after it's been voted on.
That's not the way I read it on the email.
No, you don't have to be, everyone, when you take a vote, everyone says, I voted yea, this is why I'm voting yea. I dissent, I'm voting no, this is why I'm voting no. Then you take a vote, and then the majority is, whatever the majority is, that's now the board policy. So your constituents, you've already said why you didn't vote for it or did vote for it. But then, after the vote, it becomes the board's decision.
That's always the way it's been. So why do we have to add this?
I don't think it's always been that way. I think it's always been continual turmoil, even after a vote, and continually brought up, even after a majority vote. So that's why I'm thinking it would help us.
Any more discussion?
Yes, when I read it, it says, I'm requesting that our board consider adding two promises to a code of conduct. And when we talk about promises versus, this is saying we're going to promise to abide by the two additions that you're suggesting, correct?
Well, all the conditions, the code of conduct is, all of them start with I will. All of them are promises. That's what a code of conduct is.
Okay.
You promise to abide by the code of conduct. And I think we should do it also. When I first started in that old building over there, we used to have poster size, and everybody saw it when you walked in the door. Why can't we do that again?
Hanging over the door right there.
Yeah, it's pretty tiny though. It used to be poster size, which I think is a good idea.
Is there any more discussion?
And this is for the amended vote, correct?
This is for the amended vote. Do I hear, all those in favor of adding those two items to the code of conduct for school board members, please raise your right hand. All opposed? Okay. Now, do I hear a motion that we vote on the amended motion for adding the code of conduct, the two items to the code of conduct for school board members?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand.
We're going to have a discussion about the...
Oh, I'm sorry. Any discussion?
Yes. Part of, if I can pull this thing up again, part of what this code of conduct talks about, I believe is number 6. I will encourage individual board member expression of opinion and establish an open two-way communication process with all segments of the community. As I read it, part of the individual board member expression should be included in board member remarks. Now, this is the code of conduct that many members, I didn't sign it last year, I'm not going to sign it this year, but many members signed this thing last year. And as I look at number 6, when you talk about encouraging that individual board member expression, some of the very board members that are sitting up here right now voted to end board member remarks. And this is on a code of conduct that you signed last year. So I'm happy that we brought it back, but when we look at these different codes of conduct, I think it's up to the individual board members to handle themselves accordingly, individually. And it shouldn't take signing a VSBA code of conduct for that. I don't have anything further.
I look at this statement to say when you leave the boardroom in your community that you have two-way communication back and forth. You know, because the whole community is not going to be here when you're discussing the people in your district. So it means that when you get back in your community, you have two-way communication with the people in your district. Because the whole community is not going to be here at the board meetings.
Yeah. Yes. They're, we have board member remarks back too, but so often they're used for gotcha moments, surprises, attacks on others, which to me, that is not conducive to an effective working relationship. When you're using the boardroom remarks to attack, it's just, with every vote we take, there's open discussion. So everyone has a chance to give their point of view on any subject we talk about. So when you use it, the boardroom remarks for political remarks or playing gotcha moments, that's what I object to. I don't think that's a good way to carry on business.
And also, when the public come to speak, we give them certain rules that they have to follow. And it's making disparagement remarks towards us or whatever. And I think we should have the same rules apply to the board members on making dispersion and all kinds of remarks during the meeting.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor, raise your right hand, please.
All in favor of what?
Of the motion to add the amended motion from,
I got you.
okay. All those in favor, all those opposed?
Well, we're still on code of conduct, Ms. Tanner, before we move to your next item. We've gone over clerk's code of conduct. We've gone over school board's code of conduct. Where's the superintendent's code of conduct? Is that just what we go by in his contract, or does he have a code of conduct he's supposed to be held to? Where is that at? We hadn't voted on that tonight, I don't think.
We have never
Did we
voted
vote
on. We have never voted on the superintendent's code of conduct.
So we have a code of conduct, the clerk has a code of conduct, the superintendent doesn't have a code of conduct.
He has an evaluation process that we do, but
That's not, I didn't ask if he had
I've been on the
evaluation.
board for,
I didn't ask if he had an evaluation, I
I've been
asked
on
if he
the
had a
board
code
for
of
7
conduct.
years, and we've never had a code
Yes,
of
sir,
conduct
we
for
sure
the
have,
superintendent.
but like I asked, where is the code of conduct for our superintendent?
It's my understanding it would be in his evaluation, also in his.
Oath of office.
His oath of office, also in his, I'm assuming in his contract.
We're assuming, I just want to know where the code of conduct is and what it says specifically, that's all.
Well,
Could you get the-
I'm not aware that we have ever.
Yes, ma'am. Well, if you could please contact Mr. Wood and let that be known to us, please, I'd appreciate it.
To get the code of conduct.
His
Okay.
his code of conduct.
The superintendent?
Superintendent, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
There is an oath of office.
Well, that means ours is too. Sure you do.
Yes, we do.
If you didn't, hold on.
Okay. Moving forward, do I hear a motion that school board adopts the agenda as presented?
I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Do I hear a second? Second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all of those in favor of adopting the agenda as presented, please raise your right hand. All those opposed? Okay. Now we will go into our closed meeting for personnel. The school board will convene a closed meeting for the purpose of discussing personnel matters regarding resignations, retirements, supplements, adjustments, employments, and discipline pursuant to the Personnel Exemptions Code of Virginia, Section 2.2-3711A1. Do I hear a motion that we adopt we go into closed session?
I move that we go into a closed session.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Raise your right hand. All
They have to leave, don't they?
all opposed? Okay, we're now in closed session. Excuse me, I have to get used to turning this on. I'd like to welcome you all to our January meeting for Mecklenburg County School Board. Now, we have just come out of closed session. The closed session meeting is closed, and the board certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting to which this certification applies, and only such business matters as were identified in the motion concerning the closed meeting were heard, discussed, or considered. Do I hear a motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Ms. Shuttleworth, will you certify, please?
Mr. Bria?
Yes.
Mrs. Ferguson?
Yes.
Mrs. Tanner?
Yes.
Mrs. Hicks? Yes. Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Mrs. Smiley?
Yes.
Mrs. Garner?
Yes.
Mrs. Webster?
Yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Okay. If everyone will please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the moment of silence. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Okay. Recognitions tonight. The spelling bee winner.
It is our pleasure to announce our spelling bee winner for the division. I'd like to call Emma Newcomb up, please. The Mecklenburg County Division Spelling Bee was held on January 13th. In order to participate in the Division B, a student must first win their class, their grade level, and the school level spelling bee. Tonight, we want to recognize our division winner, Emma Newcomb. Emma is a 5th grade student from Clarksville Elementary School. We want to wish Emma the best of luck as she will proceed to the regional level to compete on March 13th at the Modlin Center at the University of Richmond. Congratulations to Emma. Emma, very good. You want to stand her? Okay, great. Awesome. We'd now like to recognize the 2 seniors of the month, and we'll start off with Parkview High School. Grayson Wise, could he come up here? Hi, Grayson. Grayson Wise is a son of Kent and Emily Wise of South Hill, and his family attends services at United Methodist Church, North Mecklenburg Charge, where his father serves as pastor. Grayson's academic, extracurricular, and community achievements make him a deserving recipient of the Senior of the Month award. Grayson is a leader in the classroom and on the ball field at Parkview. Grayson has challenged himself by enrolling in the most challenging courses available, including honors and Southside Virginia Community College dual enrollment classes, and he has maintained AB grades throughout his high school years. Grayson is an offensive lineman on the football team and pitcher on the baseball team. He was selected to the Tri-Rivers District All Academic Football Team last season. He was also nominated for Wendy's High School Heisman, which annually recognizes students who excel in athletics, academics, and community involvement. Grayson is a member of the Beta Club and DECA. Last summer, he traveled to Radford University and developed his leadership skills as a participant in the 72nd session of Voice Day. He was recognized for outstanding leadership potential last year by the South Hill Rotary, who sent him to the Rotary Youth Leadership Awards in Franklin County, Virginia. Grayson has worked on the grounds crew at the South Hill Country Club. In addition to balancing his time between his studies, a part-time job, and sports, he is heavily involved in service projects at church, and he is a member of the Buckhorn Volunteer Fire Department. Grayson said he loves being a firefighter, and it feels nice helping people. Being a firefighter is like a brotherhood. Grayson plans to continue working as a volunteer firefighter after graduation. Mrs. Tanya Dunn teaches economics and personal finance at Parkview, and she said Grayson, quote, has one of the biggest hearts towards everyone and everything involved with Parkview High School. He treats everyone with respect. He cares very much about his grades. He loves representing Parkview High School on both our football and baseball teams. He gives his all at everything he attempts. Enrolled in the SVCC dual enrollment program, Grayson will graduate with his associate degree in May 2015. He will attend Liberty University and major in aviation and hopes to become a pilot. Grayson would like to become a commercial airline pilot and travel the world and lead an exciting life. Congratulations, Grayson. Congratulations. All right, Bluestone High School Senior of the Month is Essa Jaquana Pulliam. Well, I'll go ahead and...
Oh, I know where Essence is at a basketball game.
Okay, so you want to go ahead and talk about Essence?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Essence is at a basketball game. She is Bluestone High School's January Senior of the Month. Essence is the daughter of Derek and Mary Pulliam and resides in Chase City, Virginia. She is a very active student and is involved in many extracurricular and community activities. She attends Lone Oak Baptist Church and sings in the choir. Essence is a member of the Beta Club and Anti-Bullying Club at Bluestone High School. Essence is constantly seen in the classrooms and hallways of Bluestone wearing a smile. Her chemistry teacher, Mrs. Gabriella Unkajas, describes Essence and her characteristics. Quote, Essence is a dedicated and diligent student. Despite her busy schedule, she was able to maintain high grades in my chemistry class. She is very responsible and approaches her classwork with a lot of dedication and importance. She shows initiative in every job she is required to accomplish. In addition, she has a good relationship with her peers and works well with others. Miss Stephanie Bell, her English teacher, expresses this about her. Quote, Essence has a pleasant and friendly personality. She is an attentive and focused student who actively participates in class discussions. She is not hesitant to ask questions to assure she has all the clarification and details necessary to do her best. When she misses assignments due to her early departure for athletic events, she is responsible and proactive in requesting and promptly completing missed assignments. End quote. When you look on the basketball courts at Bluestone High School, you will see Essence. As a captain, she is a quiet leader that her presence and love for the game exemplifies her passion for basketball. She is a coach's dream player because she expects perfection and works hard to attain excellence. Essence also plays and enjoys softball. Essence hopes to attend Averett University in Danville, Virginia, with plans to major in athletic training. She recently visited the campus and sees herself attending there in the fall. Bluestone High School is honored to have Essence Pulliam chosen as our January Senior of the Month.
We're going to have the Parkview High School presentation, and so if everybody will stay here, and then after we have the presentation, we'll take our break and come down and congratulate and introduce ourselves. So at the Parkview High School presentation.
Good evening, Dr. Thornton, Chairman Tanner, and school board members. My name is Jeremy Goss.
I'm Sam Gallipo. I'm Mariah Raymond. I'm Wanda Uribe.
I'm Jacob Pound. And Robert Uribe. And we are seniors from Miss Parrish's English 12 class from Parkview High School. In our English 12 class, the culmination of the Anglo-Saxon unit was an assignment that was asked us to repropose in some way the epic poem of Beowulf as a way to demonstrate the comprehension of British literature. There were quite a few options to choose from, including making a magazine that featured characters and events in the story, assuming the persona of Beowulf and writing a journal, creating a board game that included events and characters in the story, or making a Beowulf movie. Our group chose to make a Beowulf movie, depicting the main scenes from the poem. We follow the process of writing a script, practicing lines, editing a film, and finding ways to be creative in our high school students' budget. Together we brainstormed and found the most inventive way to depict one of the most famous epic poems in British literature.
First, every group project is made up of individuals who specialize and take charge in the group. We quickly assigned roles of editor, director, costume designer, writer, special effects, and producer. Due to my previous experience of acting and directing, I was chosen quickly as director, which was quite an experience. We were a bunch of comedians trying to input our own ideas into the project, and when everyone tries to input our own ideas at the same time, it gets loud. Sometimes the group got out of hand, but we remembered our 5 habits apart, and together we got some great footage.
Next, we had to determine a location for the film that would help us accurately portray the different scenes. After discussing various options, we chose my house because of the scenery. We used the carport to depict the Great Hrothgar's mead hall. We used the basement for Grendel's lair. My dining room was used as Beowulf's house in Geatland. The hardest location to conquer was the one for Grendel's mother's home, but you'll see all about that later. While working on this project at school, we used classrooms and outside areas for scenes.
After we secured our location, we worked on special effects. Since we are high school students on a low to no budget, we use items you can find in a normal household. For example, for blood, we concocted a mixture of ketchup and water. For the bone cracking noises, we snapped twigs in half for a natural sound. Also, we borrowed some masks and props from our teachers that fit the scenes. And this is the Grendel's hand that you'll see later in the movie. This is Grendel himself. And this is his mother. Well, it was his mother.
Yeah, I took care of her. That's why.
Yeah.
She lost her hair. I apologize.
Now we were ready to film. We used our iPhones to video the scenes. After we filmed, we transferred the videos to Windows 8 movie maker. We linked the different clips together and then edited the film. This process took time and patience. We had to make sure that the film flowed in a proper manner. After watching the video listening like 100 times, we have finished our project.
Finally, acting. We enjoy working on this project because it encouraged us to be creative while having fun. The hardest part of the project was being serious while acting. It was very hard to be serious in making the movie when your friends are watching and smiling while you act. We now present you our film, Beowulf, the King of Geeks. Damn. Can you stop eating my people? I will give you gold for exchange.
I can't eat gold. But you're lucky you're king, because you'll make a great appetizer.
My brother, I've just heard news of a giant attacking Harad out west.
Interesting. Who is the slayer of all giants?
You are, my brother.
Who pushes all giants off the face of the earth?
You are, my brother.
Find 12 of our finest.
Why have you come to the Harad?
I have come to slay the giant you call Grendel.
Oh, really? Oh, great. Okay. Come on, I'll show you the way. All right.
Let's go.
Come on. You're gonna love the Harad. Beautiful, beautiful place. Wonderful. Harad will be so excited that you're here. Just this way. Hrothgar! 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 Hrothgar, my lord! Hrothgar, this is Beowulf, son of Edgestone. He's here to slay the giant.
Oh my God. My prayer had been answered.
Yeah. How will you slay him?
I will kill this giant Grendel with my power and my bare hands, but I will need your meat haul for the night.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate your offer.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
In order for Grendel to feel at ease, you have to be sacrificed. But my brother, you will die with honor. I understand, brother. We fought a great battle, but we lost a great man. Swords up.
What happened? That was Brenda's mother. My friend. Wake up. Hey, man. Wake up. No. He's dead. You must kill the beast.
I will.
Bro. This is the pawn of Grendel's mother.
I trust you would take care of my men if I do not return.
I will.
I will see you on the other side, man. Give me strength. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Where's Hrothgar?
He has left, my lord.
Pretty good, how about you?
Ain't got much.
My king, there's a dragon terror in the village. What do we do? I will slay this dragon, but I...
Lead my people. Build a tower of me on the shoreline in honor of me.
I will, my lord.
Thank you so much for bringing that to us. We'll take a 5-minute break if all of you will come up so that we can congratulate you and introduce ourselves. On the agenda is academic review, Mrs. Rogers and Mrs. Somerville-Majette.
All right. Good evening, Board Chair Tanner, Dr. Thornton, and board members. Mrs. Rogers and I would like to present some information to you on our academic review and our school support plan. As you know, this is our second year under academic review. The division academic review for the 13-14 academic year noted that we needed to improve our observation feedback to make sure that it consistently focused on the alignment of the written and taught curriculum. It was also noted that we needed to have administrative guidelines created to outline our expectations, which we did in terms of expectations for informal, formal observations, lesson plans, when they would be reviewed, and data collection and analysis. From there, the division needed to revise our forms and processes to analyze the data, which we did. Based on these findings, we did adhere to the essential actions, and we developed math and reading curricula that focused on data collection and analysis throughout the summer. Our division academic review for this year was conducted on November 14th, 24, for this school year by our state-appointed contractor. Based on her findings, she said that Mecklenburg County Public Schools has made significant growth, The report indicated that the division focused on the feedback and monitoring of the alignment of the written and taught curriculum. Also, it was noted that we have taken the appropriate steps towards effective data collection and analysis. And due to our progress, she didn't assign any essential actions for the division for this school year because of our significant improvement.
Although there were no essential actions assigned, it is imperative for us to continue to reevaluate our structures in an effort to provide the most effective support to teachers. So therefore, our support plan has been restructured to allow for a greater level of support to our SOL content teachers. All SOL content teachers will be assigned a person, whether it be a principal, assistant principal, coach, coordinator, director, to review plans and provide feedback to ensure alignment of the written, taught, and tested curriculum. This person will then observe the teacher each week and provide feedback. All coaches and coordinators will also be assigned a teacher in which they will co-teach. And every 2 weeks, the team assigned to a school to review lesson plans will meet to review, critique the plans, and observation feedback. This will allow principals to see the feedback for their teachers. Although they may not be the one checking the lesson plans, they will get the feedback at this time and identify any trends or need for professional development. Also, at this time, data analysis of any assessments that have incurred during that time will also take place. This is being presented tonight just for information. Do you have any questions?
The coaches that are co-teaching with teachers in the school, are they going to work out of central office, or are they going to be reassigned to work under each principal at each school?
Some of the coaches are already assigned directly to schools. We're using some of our coaches that are assigned to schools, like reading specialists and so forth, and then the others may be assigned to more than one school. So they will still be working out of central office because they may be working between more than one school.
Okay.
Any other questions? The maintenance projects update, Ms. Tuck?
Ms. Tuck is not here, so
Okay, Ms. Tuck.
I guess I will go through her PowerPoint. I believe this was in your board packet last week, so I'll just go over some of the highlights. This is an update she wanted to share on the HVAC secondary upgrades. This is what Honeywell has been working on. The Parkview High School Library HVAC is installed and performing. We're 95% complete with Parkview High School and Bluestone High School vocational building water heater. Bluestone High School Library outdoor equipment was removed, and the new ductwork is fabricated but not installed yet, and it's going to be installed within the next 2 weeks. The new indoor unit and technology classroom at Parkview Middle School vocational building is in, and both high schools' gyms are scheduled for this spring, I think over spring break. Some completed job, the new bleachers at both middle schools. You see a picture of them out there and also tucked in. We did lose some seating capacity because, as you see, those rows with the handles and some handicap accessible areas, I think, are in that bottom picture. To the left, you can see that open space. Also at Parkview High School, there was an outdoor pavilion for additional seating at lunch and other uses. There's a conference room addition that happened at Parkview High School. Additional parking lot was created at Parkview High School. That was a request from the principal. We had, I believe we had, did we have an accident early in the year? The first day or something? Yeah, and it was to remove the student parking, the student traffic from the parent pickup traffic. So that has been completed. Sidewalks installed at Parkview High School, La Crosse, Clarksville Elementary School. We did some regrading and gravel being spread at Bluestone High School and Bluestone Middle School. I know we've asked for some paving in the past, and we have not received that. And there's some thought you can run over gravel. Bluestone Middle School actually had a bus driver come to me at church, and we had just graded that at the end of last year, and he said it was like riding over waves. And I went there on the weekend, and it was like riding over waves, and we did that over the break as well. And I believe it's already starting to have waves again. And the work we did at Bluestone High School for the band when they had their project, most of that gravel is washed away as well. So some of these areas we really need to look at actually paving, which is a high dollar expense though. But it's a one-time high dollar expense that hopefully will last for years. We did additional exterior lights at Clarksville Elementary School, and later on in the budget cycle, I believe all the schools have asked, or elementaries have asked for additional lighting now with our after-school programs. We do not have good lighting at this time of year. We're going to continue to troubleshoot HVAC, and they've processed 870 work orders from July through December 31st. Transportation fuel tanks, we're conducting research for the use of buses that use propane fuel. Propane fuel is clean and environmentally friendly. It is a lot cheaper. The buses are more expensive up front, but I believe, and Heather's not here, I believe the payback is 5 years or less. And currently we have an issue with a fuel tank at Clarksville Elementary School, and we'll have more on that as we get the report. But that fuel tank, we may have to take it out of use. And if we take that out of use, we'll probably be recommending that we put in a propane tank. And with our next round of buses that we purchase, we purchase for Clarksville with propane. So we're still researching that. Next. I think that's it. Any questions?
Question.
Is it still cheaper even with the price of fuel going down? So
Yes, it is.
Still even
It is.
Mr. Edwards?
When we do these projects like these rooms that we expand and things that we do, could the school board get some notice on it? I mean, what happens is you do projects and the public knows about it and the school board has no idea what's going on. You know, we need to know things in advance with a cost attached, if that would be possible.
We can do that.
And we lost how many gallons of fuel? We got an email that we lost so many gallons of fuel. And where was that?
That was at Parkview High School and actually at Bluestone High School as well, I believe.
The question
I don't know the gallons, Heather will.
the question I've got is our custodians do not work for us. They're not employed by Mecklenburg County, and they're the ones sticking these tanks. 8 years ago, we invested in flow meters for every line to go into every school, and it's not necessary to stick the tanks. Once you fill the tank, the flow meter will tell you how many gallons a day goes into the building, and you can read the flow meters rather than going out and sticking the tank. If you get one lazy man with a stick and he doesn't put the stick all the way down, it's going to show that it's lacking fuel. And I just wonder why we can't go back and use the flow meters we spent over $20,000 for. You know,
I'll go back
it'd be
and
more
investigate.
efficient than what we're doing. And plus, our employees are not sticking the tanks, which makes me wonder.
I also have a question.
One more thing. And when those fuel trucks come, if the tanks are not locked, who stands there and watches that fuel being dumped? 25 years ago in Mecklenburg County, we had a big theft problem because, and I'm not saying it's happening now, but the fuel truck drivers can actually not dump all the fuel at that site and then take it to another location and dump it. And if we think we're getting 5,000 gallons and we're only getting 3,500 gallons, we have no way of checking that because a stick won't tell you that. Just a suggestion.
I have a question.
Just a second, Ms. Garner.
I also was wondering, have the principals or assistant principals asked for motion cameras for the outside of their buildings to indicate whether there's trespassing after hours?
I think all of the schools through the past few years have asked for cameras outside, some areas inside that are still not visible. And we did some of it with that grant that we received, but it's very expensive, and I think most of them have requested some of that in their budget this year.
Okay.
Mr. Reedier?
Just have a question on the, both high school gym unit installations scheduled on spring break. Is that the air conditioning units? Or what is that?
I think it's the HVAC, yes.
HVAC? Have we done anything with our middle school gyms yet?
No, sir.
They're still not air conditioned? We still got the fans set up, blowing on everybody and everything?
Yes, sir.
How did our high schools get in front of our middle schools when they have nothing? I'm just trying to figure out what the rationale there was.
That was it, when Honeywell came in and went around to check all of our facilities. Both of those units in the high school gym needed replacement, which is why they were checked and found that they need to be replaced.
And that would supersede somewhere that doesn't have anything at all?
This is
I'm just
part of,
trying-
this, if I'm not mistaken, this is part of that contract to make the upgrades for all of the things that Honeywell found,
Yes.
found
Okay,
problems with, and this was one of them.
What did Honeywell find in the gyms of the middle schools?
Honeywell did give us a price for air conditioning, both middle schools. And we did not proceed with that because we're still up in the air. Are we gonna be in those middle schools for a long time? If we are, then I would say, yes, we need to do something about it.
We're still in the same quandary on the high school also, aren't we? We don't know whether they're gonna be in two high schools, one high school, what, but we're replacing them in those high schools. I just don't understand the rationale. Why one supersedes the other when one has nothing? If they're functioning at 75% capacity or efficiency, and we have one functioning at zero efficiency, why do we stick with zero efficiency to get a 90% efficiency somewhere else? I just don't understand that, the rationale on that. But I don't work for Honeywell, so.
I don't know what the efficiency was, but I know last year at Parkview High School for graduation, we had to pay $5,000 for a standby generator in case the HVAC didn't come on. So we've been having problems for years, and they haven't been replaced since 1980 when the facility was put up. So they're way past their warranty, and I think they're needed in all four of those locations. But we have it right now in the high schools, and we need it replaced in the high schools.
I may have missed it, but, I mean, when did we decide to put them in the high school versus doing something at the middle schools also?
It was in the presentation with
Okay.
the big packet of Honeywell
Okay,
and all of the upgrades.
thank you.
And on the delivery of fuel, when a delivery truck delivers the fuel, is there not a ticket with a printed number of gallons? So you know how many gallons are being delivered?
Give up.
Yes, ma'am, there is.
That's what I thought, okay.
But that can be gerrymandered. It happened before in
Yeah,
Mecklenburg County.
I'm not saying that
Yeah,
it probably could be, but
you know,
in
any-
most cases,
Right. You can take the hose out of one end and stick it back in the truck and run 6,000 gallons back into the truck and give you a ticket and you'll be
sure there's a
happy.
way around it.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is the regional teacher pay comparison. Mrs. Pittard?
All right, so this presentation is using the VSBA statewide salary comparison information, and took the information off of the VSBA website and did a comparison of various jobs within Mecklenburg County School System compared to other comparable jobs in Region 8. And the purpose of this study is to research how we compare to other counties in our region in order to remain competitive in our structure, in our pay structure, with the ability to attract and retain quality employees. So the next slide, we're going to just go through a series of slides of different jobs that we have. We're going to start off with our support staff, starting with our school secretaries. The Mecklenburg County school secretaries' pay structure is in red. As you can see, we're at the bottom of the scale. The salary scale ranges from $18,000 to $25,000 for 0 years of experience, and for 10 years of experience, it's $21,000 to $28,000. Next slide. Central office secretaries, again, are at the bottom of the scale with 0 years of experience, starting at $19,000, and it goes up to $29,000. And then 10 years of experience, they're still at the bottom with $24,000 to up to $35,000. Next. Maintenance. Maintenance is in the middle to upper end of the scale, so we are competitive in our salary scale for maintenance. Okay. Mechanics, again, we didn't have as many counties to compare with. I couldn't get that information, but we are not at the bottom. We're in the upper end of the scale. Next, food service workers. We are self-funded in our food service workers, and with 0 years of experience, we're at the bottom of the scale. Starts with $8,637, and it goes up to $16,988 for 0 years of experience. And at 10 years, we do move up. The bottom end of the scale for 10 years is $9,000. It goes up to $20,000. Next is technology support specialists, and we're at the upper end. And with 10 years, we're at the top end of the scale. For 0 years, we start off at 26. We don't, but the range is $26,000 to $39,000. For 10 years, it ranges from $28,000 to $45,000. Next, for instructional staff, instructional assistants at 0 years of experience is at the bottom end of the scale, starting at $11,642. The range goes up to $18,370 for 0 years of experience. At 10 years, we move up to third from the bottom, and the range goes from $13,000 to $22,000. Next, we have teachers. Teachers were second from the bottom with 0 years, and then we're third from the bottom with 10 years. And we've talked about that last month, about where we fall in that category. Next is elementary principals. We're in the middle, starting with 0 years of experience, and we move up towards the upper end with 10 years of experience. It goes from $50,000 with 0 years up to $78,000. 10 years is $63,000 up to almost $90,000. Middle school principals is third from the bottom for 0 years of experience, and fourth, kind of closer to the middle with 10 years of experience. With 0 years, they range from $53,000 to $78,000, and 10 years experience is $68,000 to almost $90,000. High school principals with 0 years of experience is second from the bottom, and with 10 years of experience, it goes up to fourth place. With 0 years, the range is $53,000 to $81,000, and 10 years is $68,000 to $90,000. Elementary assistant principals, we're third from the bottom with 0 years of experience, and we move up to the fourth place with 10 years of experience. Goes from $46,000 or $47,000 to $69,000. With 0 years and 10 years, it's $59,000 to $80,000. Middle school assistant principals, we're third from the bottom for 0 years of experience, and second from the bottom, 10 years of experience. 0 years ranges from $50,000 to $69,000, and 10 years ranges $60,000 to $80,000. And high school assistant principals, second from the bottom for 0 years of experience, and at the bottom for 10 years of experience. The range is $50,000 to $71,000, and for 10 years it's $62,000 to $80,000. Directors are in the middle, so their range is $53,000 to $82,000, and 10 years is $68,000 to $95,000. From this study, where do we go from here? Well, it's evident that our salary scales for secretary, food service workers, instructional assistants, teachers, high school principals, and assistant principals fall at the lower end of the scale in comparison to other Region 8 counties. As we move forward, it is important to make sure these salary scales are a priority in maintaining our ability to be competitive and attracting and retaining the best employees that we can, while still maintaining a competitive salary for the other job areas that are already at the right level. Next month, I plan to bring a study of bus drivers and substitutes and how we compare with other Region 8 counties in that arena to make sure that we're staying in track with what we need to be paying our staff. The last slide. Our students equal our future, and it's important that we get the best, most highly qualified people to be in these positions so that we can have the best environment and the best education for our students. Any questions?
Yes. When we get to directors, coaches, and administrators, could you give us a breakdown as to school population to what you're comparing to? If they have 6 administrators and we have 15 administrators for the same size population in the school, then we're probably spending $1 million more than they are, and that money could be redistributed into the lower levels. You see what I'm saying?
I certainly can.
How many other schools in our districts operate with the same type instruction that we do with all the coaches and administrators? I'd like to know that. And I'd also like for you to compare what we do in our schools and give us an average income for Mecklenburg County and some other categories so we can see where we stand as far as population and where their incomes are compared to what our incomes are.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Will you email me all that? Make sure that I get it right. But also wanted to just, and I can't really speak on that, but I do know we're one of the largest school districts in Region 8, so that does make a difference. But I can bring all those facts next month along with that, making, you know. All right. Any other questions?
Didn't the county recently do, I think one of our administrators, didn't the county recently do a study on whether you're, Mr. Spain, I say to put you on the spot, but I just seem to remember reading in the paper that they did a study on if Mecklenburg's employees are comparative to, are competitively paid. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, because I think that's one of the most important things we need to do is to remain competitive.
Absolutely.
But I think Glenna's broader point is, how many directors or coordinators do we have versus the counties that you have up here? If we've got 20 coordinators, and they're at the bottom of the list, and Charlotte County has 5, and they're up here, I can see where that's, I think, what Glenn is going
Right.
to.
I guess you want it as a comparison to the student population, like per number of directors per student population, that kind of thing would be good. Okay.
And we can bring on the state spreadsheet that we give you each year, there's a breakdown of how much Mecklenburg gets for each position, each director's position, how much the state gives us, and how many we're supposed to have according to SOQ requirements. And we actually are slightly below SOQ requirements in all of those areas. So the coaches, the state dictates how many coaches we have that exact number. The state dictates how many central office staff you have, we have that number. So we have more than the other counties because we have a much larger county than most of Region 8.
The only other thing, the reason I asked that is at our last meeting, Mr. Sturvin asked the question about technology, and we have too many technology people. And I mean, our director of technology told us that. So if that's the case in technology, I was just questioning the other areas.
Okay. Thank you.
That was my question.
Okay.
How many technology support specialist positions do we have?
When you're talking about
Technology support?
not ITRTs,
Yes,
We have 5.
technology support.
I think we have 5. Yeah,
Didn't we create a position this year?
we did, and that was to meet the SOQs.
But we created one then?
We did.
Okay, thank you.
That is 1 per 1,000, and we have, we're in between 4,000 and 5,000 students. So we're required to have like 4.5, and we have 5.
Right.
Any other questions? Okay, the 2015-2016 calendar update.
Okay.
Ms. Biddard.
Well, y'all gonna get tired of seeing
I'll
me.
say you're up here for a while.
All right, so just a little background. The calendar committee consisted of a representative from each school. We met in December to start the calendar process, and we started with establishing goals. Our primary goal was to create an instructionally sound calendar and meet the unique needs of the students at the elementary, middle, and high school level, which is often different and hard to accommodate all of those different needs. Our secondary goal was for more instructional time. That was a request, and to finish first semester before Christmas. Our wants were to have the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and to have 2 weeks at Christmas. We then created 2 calendars based on the criteria above, and below is some of the feedback we received. We put the calendar out to the division to get some feedback initially, and just to find out the heartbeat of everybody, what they want, what they like. And some of the feedback was on the option 1 and option 2, which you have a copy of. in order to increase the amount of instructional time and not go into the first week of August starting, we created a creative way to still get in more instructional time and finish first semester, and that was to have some flex time at the beginning of school. So the teachers had 2 teacher flex work days and 1 professional development flex day. And then they would have 3 days to come back all together before the students came. So the feedback was that that was not enough time at the beginning of school to get ready. So the solution is we could start August 6th for the teachers and finish before Christmas, and this would give us 5 days before students return. Solution number 2 is to start August 10th and finish first semester on December 22nd, which wouldn't give you the 2 weeks at Christmas. And solution number 3 is do not finish first semester by Christmas. This would allow for more flexibility in scheduling PD and teacher work days at the beginning of school and throughout the year. The other feedback that we heard was I feel like we're starting too early in August. I don't mind starting before Labor Day, but feel that this is too early. And so in order to finish the first semester before Christmas, which is a high school request, you must start this early in order to get in the amount of instructional days and have your voting day off and Thanksgiving and that. So the solution to that is to move first semester to sometime in January, which then we came up with option number 3, which is also posted on your board docs. So the next steps are to survey the parents and staff and giving them the 3 options, and based on the feedback, which is based on the feedback from the first survey. And then we want to present the calendar in February for approval based on the final survey results. So you've got the 3 options there. We may have to tweak a little bit based on the feedback that we get from the parents and the teachers on those 3 options, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on where we are in that process. So right now this is for information only, and we would like to vote on a calendar in February based on the final survey results. Any questions about the calendars or where we are in that process?
How many teachers responded to the survey?
I think it was like 250. Okay. Somewhere in that neighborhood. It is above 200. I can't give you an exact number. Any other questions about that? Okay.
If you'll move on, Ms. Pittard.
And the last topic is the VSBA policy, section J, which is students. It's very long. It's 163 pages. It is presented this month for first read. Topics in this section include topics that directly affect students, such as discrimination, attendance, conduct, weapons, drugs, suspension, corporal punishment, immunizations, admissions, and wellness. This will replace section 7 of our old policy. Please read these policies prior to February. If you have any questions or concerns, you can email me or phone or call me, ask any questions, and we'd like to vote on this in February.
I got a question. How much did we pay the VSBA for these new policies? We paid $20,000 year before last for our other policies. How much did we pay? Are we paying the VSBA? Okay.
Any other questions?
Yes, Ms. Pittard, with the
Yes.
VSBA policy, I know we hit it on it before. Is there a whistleblower policy
Yes,
in the VSBA?
I did look it up, and we don't have a whistleblower policy in VSBA, but there is routes that people can take, you know, in terms of harassment, or they can file a complaint, and then there are grievances that they go through. So there is actually not a whistleblower policy.
Okay. Are you aware of other school systems that have a existing?
I did look at another school system that had a whistleblower policy, yes.
And what did you find? How was the wording of that?
Gosh, I don't.
Is that
it
something
just-
that you can present to us so that
I
it's come up a
could,
lot?
yeah, sure.
Can you email that to each of us, please?
Sure, yeah.
Thank you.
But we do have a whistleblower policy in our audits for the schools.
Yes.
Because
Yes,
the school activity,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
As part of the procedures.
right, that's
That's a
right.
policy, right?
Right, it's in the procedure for that, okay.
I
So I
like-
will,
I'd like to ask
sure.
Ms. Tanner, if we could get maybe that put on information or something on a whistleblower policy not pertaining to the audit, far as conduct among personnel, superintendent, everyone in our school system, not a monetary whistleblower policy, but a conduct policy, whatever you want to call it, but whistleblower, whatever. A means of someone contacting someone without fear of retribution or intimidation.
We'll have Ms. Pittard look into that and send us those policies to look at. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
Okay.
We're going to move on to E-rate modernization. Mr. Gregory?
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Thornton, student liaisons. This afternoon, I'd like to share with you all recent changes that the FCC has made to our E-rate funding. E-rate funding is the money that the FCC sets aside to help schools and libraries pay for things like telephone lines, cell phones, connections between our schools, which are called wide area connections, to help us pay for our internet services. It's what we've been using for as long as I can remember. They have set these funds aside for schools and libraries to make sure that everybody has access to telecommunication services. They've made recent changes, and I want to share how those changes affect Mecklenburg County schools. So they came up with 3 new goals. They want to ensure their initial goal, the reason they started, was to ensure that all schools and libraries had adequate access to broadband. Their next goal was to maximize the cost effectiveness of the E-rate program. That's really become important as the demand for more bandwidth, more WAN connectivity, more data has continued to grow over the years. This has caused an issue for them because more and more people are requesting more money, so the funds are starting to dry up, and that's what's driving these changes that the FCC is making. And then this will be nice, but hopefully it happens. They want to make the application process a little bit easier to deal with. It's a lot of paperwork to fill out that we have to do. It's very time consuming. You're always working on 3 years at a time, so you're really working on a lot of paperwork. These changes affect us in a few ways. The way they're paying for schools to have more access to broadband is they're phasing out telecom services. So they're phasing out cell phones, they're phasing out local telephone lines, they're phasing out anything to do with telecom, and then shifting those funds to pay for more data internet service for schools. They've changed their discount rates. So we were at our discount rates are based on our free and reduced lunch rates. We were at 81%. We'll drop back to a division discount of 80%. And they've changed the Category 2 funding, which used to be called Priority 2, which really helps us. It gives us the ability, this is the thing that makes their system more equitable. So instead of divisions, when the money's left over at the end of the year, they use the money that didn't go to internet to pay for internal connections, like they would help you pay for additional wireless and things like that. So any money that was left over, they moved into what they considered Category 2. Well, if you weren't a 90% school, you never saw any of those funds. So we never, in many years, we haven't seen that money. So now they're shifting some of their funds to make it more equitable and make sure that every school has access to at least a certain amount of funds. So Category 1 we kind of just talked about. That's a fiber that runs between our schools. We'll continue to get that paid for. The internet service that we have will continue to get paid for. So basically what it means for us is you can see the local POTS lines, the VoIP, the cellular. Those are the things that will be phased out for us. So over the next 5 years, you see our portion here. This is what we currently pay, continues to go up. They're doing a 5-year phase out. So over the next 5 years, we'll pay 20% additional until it's completely phased out. So this is what it looks like for us on Category 1 funding. Category 2, where we will see some additional funds, is cabling, routers, switches, access points, things that you use to get connectivity to the internet. So we will get funds for those per school, on a per school basis now. So the way that they calculate that per school basis, it's $150 per student based on the school population over 5 years. So this is what that looks like for us. The 5-year total is based on last month's student population. So basically, over the next 5 years, we'll get this amount of funds, and SLD will pay for that 80% of those funds. So we would pay the difference between the two. So that's good for us because we haven't received those funds in years, and that money was starting to dry up, and we wouldn't have seen any priority 2 funds moving forward. I know that's a lot of information. It's pretty techy, but I think the presentation is in your packets if you have any questions, or if you have any questions now.
So what is the impact to next year's budget?
20%. So next year's budget, in funding year 15, instead of paying $57,000, we'll go up to $83,000. So we're looking at a $26,000 increase in telecommunication services next year. We wouldn't get any category. We can start applying for category 2 next year. So that's on a per school basis. And we can apply any year during the next 5 years for, that would be like the total amount of funds over 5 years for like Bluestone High. So we could apply for those funds all at once. We could apply for them a little bit next year, a little bit the following year. So that's, can exercise our own discretion there.
So actually, money-wise, if you take the 2 and wash them out, we come out better off than we were. We'll actually won't be spending any more money over a 5-year period because we're reaping category 2
Right.
more than we're putting out on category 1.
This really hurt a lot of school divisions.
Right.
It benefited us because we weren't getting priority 2 funds, category 2 funds now. We weren't getting those anyway because we're at 80% school division. So it helped us and made it more equitable for us. So other school divisions are losing money. It's helping us. We're a wash instead of having to fork out a lot of money for telecommunications.
Okay.
Any more questions? Okay. Co-teaching plan, Ms.
Good evening, board members, school liaisons, Ms. Chairperson, and Dr. Thornton. I'd like to present the co-teaching plan we're planning for Parkview Middle School for the rest of the school year. We start out the school year shadowing teachers. What we do is we go in and we follow the teacher around for 3 or 4 days, see how they're working as a team, gathering data, which is going to drive the in-depth co-teaching training on February 13th. We go in and we do some model and coaching. We sit in co-planning. We help teachers become a more cohesive team. The next one. February 13th, we plan to have a full-day training at Parkview Middle School. We're training the teachers that are currently co-teaching right now. They will be going through training that involves building a rapport with your team members, clarifying roles and responsibilities, which is a big thing in co-teaching. If you do not know your roles and responsibilities in the classroom, it's very difficult to become a cohesive team. Communication, resolving difficult situations. Different types of co-teaching. We'll be videotaping, watching some videotapes for examples. I've been videotaping at Parkview last week and saw some really good co-teaching in the 7th grade with the 7th grade teams. And then we'll have some team discussions on future lesson plans and some role playing. After the February 13th training, the teachers will go back and put everything into practice in their teams. We'll give them a month and go back in March and April. We'll go back and work with the teams during the morning professional development time and see how they're doing and see if they need any more training or anything they need help with to become a more cohesive team. At the end of the school year, we will train the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade teachers that have not gone through the co-teaching training, and they will be ready if the teams change. Everybody will have gone through the co-teaching training, know what they're supposed to do to build their teams, and hopefully put that into practice in the classroom. Any questions?
Why just Parkview Middle?
I started with the middle schools this year, and as we were shadowing, there's two of us, and then Sandra Jones came in, and it's very hard. What we're doing is we're cutting and pasting. We're just piecemealing things, which we've done for the last couple years. So we chose Parkview Middle School because we already shadowed the most teams there. I've only shadowed one team at Bluestone, and Bluestone is a priority 3 school, so TTAC has been told that they are to work with those priority teams. So TTAC has already come into Bluestone Middle School and done some co-teaching and training, and they were in just last Friday, I believe, and did some work with co-planning. So we have TTAC in at Bluestone Middle School. So Mary, Sandra, and I are going to hit Parkview Middle School. Okay. And we hit the middle schools because that's where the majority of, they're almost 100% co-teaching.
Right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
We'll move on to our public input. At this time, matters may be publicly brought to the attention of the board and administration. Public comments at board meetings are just one of many avenues for communication, and the board recognizes and appreciates the importance of input from and communication with the public we represent. The public is invited to sign up to speak prior to the beginning of the meeting. The clerk of the school board will write down your name, address, and the topic you wish to speak about. The public is allowed up to 6 minutes at most meetings to express their views. Please respect that time limitation. It will be enforced. Please understand that it may not be possible to immediately respond to questions. As a reminder, it is inappropriate at a public meeting to make personal attacks, to be defamatory, or to disparage individuals or identifiable groups. Again, we welcome and appreciate your input. Prior to beginning your comments, please state your name to the board. Ms. Shuttleworth?
To the board, my name is B. Lacey Marks, and I am the president of the Mecklenburg County branch NAACP. The fact that I am here before you speaking means that the situation is not good. Tonight I had intentions of being at home looking at the State of the Union address, yet I stand before you presenting a State of Education in Mecklenburg County address. First, back in the 50s, there was a popular TV show named Dragnet. At the beginning of the program, the announcer would say, "The story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. However, there is no need to change any names because all of you are guilty." In Robert Fulcrum's All I Really Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten, number 4 clearly states, "Clean up your own mess." And what a mess you have made of public education in Mecklenburg County. SOL scores are down. Under the leadership of Dr. Frank Paulikavich and Mrs. Helen Hill, the majority, if not all, of the schools in the county were accredited. There were 2 blue ribbon schools, Chase City Elementary and La Crosse Elementary. PBL was to be the panacea for all of our academic woes, key to 21st century learning. Yet the person who was hired because of her expertise in that area, Dr. Hackney, is now in charge of alternative ed. Have you abandoned PBL? Teacher morale is down. Teachers are leaving because of the poor work environment that you have created. Your relationship with the Board of Supervisors is strained, to say the least, because you have not listened to the citizens that they have been complaining, have not listened to the citizens concerning public education in Mecklenburg County. They have been complaining to their representative on the Board of Supervisors. Minority hiring is woeful, to say the least. Approximately 40% of the students in the system are black. Yet, you can count on one hand the number of black teachers and administrators in any given school. You cannot find black teachers at Longwood and Virginia Tech. You need to actively recruit on HBCU campuses if you're looking for black teachers. Tonight is an excellent time for you to begin cleaning up the mess that you have created. You need to put politics aside and elect a chair and a vice chair who have vision and know how to complete this task. And that's a little bit late because you have already done so. For most of you, it may be your last opportunity to do so. For it will be the end of your political careers because there will be no need for you to run for re-election. And after what has occurred tonight, you have lost all credibility with the public as far as public education in Mecklenburg County is concerned. When you look, you always have been complaining that no one has come to the meeting, but you haven't been listening to the public. And it's a shame, but it was your decision. So good night.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. We'll move on to action items. Do I hear a motion that we approve the minutes from the December 15th school board meeting?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed? Abstain.
Abstain.
Okay. Do I hear a motion that the school board approves the bills? Second? Okay. Who looked over the bills? I wasn't sure who.
Well, to be honest, I did not come over here to do the bills, but I always go over them at home, and I'd already talked to Ms. Garner. I had a couple of questions, which she greatly appreciated because usually I have a longer list. But under instruction, there was expenditure for $3,949.01 and $5,126.58, and they were for activity tables and chairs. And Ms. Garner said that this was furniture for Clarksville Elementary, for Century 21. And my question was, did Century 21 pay for them? And her response was no, that this came out of remediation funds or funds set aside for remediation of the kids after school. So that's where the money came from. The second was $140 for food for school board members to BHS. And then I found out that went to the culinary arts class at Bluestone when they feed us here at the school board before the meetings. And believe me, the food that he's given us, $140, it's not enough. And the other question I had, we are paying $61,341.64 per month for Service Solutions. And I multiplied that by 12 and came up with over $700,000 that we're paying them a year. And now we've hired people to do our lawn care. And I'm beginning to wonder, and she could not answer the question, where is the savings with this company if we have to put out for maintenance? It's a whole lot of money, and I don't believe we paid that much when we had the people on our own payroll.
We can pull out the old budget and showed you we paid over $900,000 prior. When we went to Service Solutions, we saved approximately $200,000. I'd have to go back 3 years and pull all those numbers, but we can pull all those numbers for you. And you're correct, at that time, our custodians mowed the grass and trimmed the bushes at each school. The reason we went out to bid was, one, to save money, and in some of the schools, we were not getting a good job done. Some we were getting an excellent job done. Parkview High School was an example that was excellent inside and out. And it was mainly to look at the savings in money at that time. And so over the last 3 years, we've saved approximately $200,000 when we put the grass in. I'm not sure what the grass cost. What was that, about $100,000?
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range. So now we're not saving $200,000 a year, we're saving like $100,000 a year. So yes, the savings has declined since we've done the grass. And again, the grass at the east end of the county and the grounds are spectacular. At the west end, they were not as good, and we put them back out for bid. And actually, every once in a while, you need to rebid things, and we will be rebidding custodial services as well this year in the budget cycle.
I have one question on while we're talking about the custodial services. Prior to Service Solutions, when our employees were handling our own custodial services, do we have the scabies problem we've had this year, previous to this? I don't remember it since I've been on the board. Mr. Edwards, you've been on here longer than any of us.
12 years now we have.
You haven't? Okay.
I'd have to ask the nurse, but the nurse informed me during the scabies problem, we've had scabies every year. And scabies is not associated with cleaning. It is associated with someone bringing that into the schools.
How much longer is our contract with Centergenics? Do we pay them $9,500 a month to turn the lights out?
This is the last year for that contract.
Are we going to please do away with that? I mean, everybody should have learned how to turn the lights out by now.
Yeah, I do not know our full intention, but I think that is the way that we are going.
Thank you.
Any more questions about the budget items?
Is this the bills, total bills, I guess?
The bills.
Has it come up yet as far as the renewing the contract with Cortez? Has that been done yet?
No.
Okay, when do we address that? At the end of the year, or?
I guess we'll address it when we see the results.
Yeah,
How long of a contract is it, is my question?
It's for the year.
It's for the
It's year to year.
Okay, so at the beginning of the year, we have to, at the end of this year, we'll talk about the
Right.
signing a new contract. Also, Ms. Garner mentioned about it, the cost of dinner for school board members, and that comes out from the individual schools?
No, we are paying that to Bluestone High School. We're putting it in the culinary, it's going in the Culinary Arts Fund through their school activity to use for projects for culinary arts. But Bluestone provides a dinner for those that want it for prior to the board meetings.
Okay, so we pay Bluestone.
We're paying Bluestone High School, and we're really reimbursing them for the food, plus a little extra to go into the culinary program.
Okay. The other thing is the VSBA trips. I know we have a trip scheduled soon. I think it was talked about for the board member, new board member, and is that going to be in this bill?
No, it would be in the next month's bill.
Okay, and
It's next month, Monday. Monday.
February, yeah. it'll be in the
26th.
next.
and with that, have we already signed up for it as far as board members going to it?
Yes, we had a deadline. Ms. Shuttleworth got in touch with all of us via email, and we had a deadline as to when to sign up.
And how many board members signed up for it?
Well, they don't have to pay for me because I'm on the board of directors for the Virginia School Board Association, so there's no cost to the county.
Well, I didn't ask who was paying for it.
I just want to let you know that I'm going, but it's paid for by the Virginia School Board Association.
They pay for the motel too?
No.
Oh, thank you.
They pay the fee for the registration, which is much higher than the hotel room.
I guess I can continue. I didn't know that, Mr. Bullock. And what is this conference for?
It's the Governor's Conference on Education, and then there's also a track for new board chairs, new school board members, And then we go to the legislative, listen to the legislative items, and then we go meet with Senator Ruff and Delegate Wright on Tuesday.
Tuesday at the General Assembly.
Yeah, at the General Assembly at 11.
I might can answer your question a little bit, Ms. Sturtevant, on the vice chair and chairman training. I've gone to that a couple of times. That's training you go to be able to be a chairman, to be able to tell you the do's and the don'ts, what to say, what not to say, parliamentary procedure to some extent, and some laws and regulations govern chair and vice chair. So that's what goes on in those meetings.
Okay. What I'm getting at, I didn't know, Mr. Bullock, that we're paying for your hotel stay for that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Earlier in the year, we were given an award, a certificate through the VSBA. And that certificate, we had, I guess, different color codes associated with certificates, and this is part of bills. My question is, so we have full disclosure, is it possible we can get a breakdown of how much money we're spending as board members on different conferences? Do you keep a
How
record?
much we pay for board? Well, sure, I have a record of every conference you've been to, certainly.
Yes, can we get a total of that for the year?
Okay, board conferences for this year is not complete, so would you like to do last year, or you want?
Last year.
Or through December 31st.
Okay.
Because I think the public deserves to know how much we're spending as a board on training and the amount of money it costs to include hotel stays. And my view, when it comes to training, the principals and the teachers are more of an impact in the day-to-day lives of our kids. So if the training isn't needed, I think as a board, we should talk about who's going to what conference, how much money is it actually costing us? Is the training necessary, or is it training, because it's my understanding every time we go to training, we get so many points through the VSBA. The more points you have, the greater the award. Am I correct?
I think
Yes,
so,
sir.
from what I've seen in here. I'm not.
So I just want to make sure we can kind of monitor how much money, how much taxpayers' dollars we're spending on hotel stays.
And this is, I will make a comment to this. This is not about awards. This is about going to conferences to gain new information, to be able to bring it back to our school systems. It also is an opportunity to network with other schools to find out what's going on, what issues they have. And if we're in the business of education, then we need to be educated as well. There are some board members who have never gone to any of the trainings, and by law, we're supposed to attend trainings for this. So I think we've discussed this, and we're going to move on to the.
May I make a comment?
Oh, hold on, Mr. Bullock. I got one quick question for you, Ms. Tanner, also, while we're on this, and I'm done with the legislature. This is the meeting that, Mr. Bullock, you and I attended last year, and you, Ms. Tanner, right?
Correct.
And Dr. Thornton, right? Last year. Thank you.
But I think that one of the reasons we've had some problem with our board is that we don't go to the training to see how things are functioning. We're not the only county that send people to the board. All the counties in the state of Virginia have people at the board, at the Virginia School Board Association conferences. It's not just Mecklenburg County.
I've been on this board 12 years. I was trained one time, and I remembered it. I don't have to go back every year to be retrained for the same thing. I've been to the Virginia School Board VSBA convention year after year after year before y'all came on this board, and it's the same thing every year. And I've met people now that I talk to daily that give me feedback from what's happening in the state of Virginia. And I don't really need to go down there for 4 or 5 days and spend $250 a night for 5 days and eat meals and party to come back here. You can take a group of crows. This is a farmer. You can take a group of crows. They don't all fly away together. They send one out, and he'll get the information and come back and tell the others where the corn is. So why wouldn't we send one member down there, and they get the information and bring it back and share it with us? We could save 8 times whatever the fees are. That's all I got to say.
Okay, do we have any more comments about the bills for this month?
No, I just want to we are gonna get a copy, the amount that we've spent. That's all I want.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the bills, raise your right hand. All those opposed?
Abstain.
3 no, 1 abstain. Okay, personnel. Do I hear a motion that we approve the personnel agenda as presented?
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed? VSBA policy section I, instruction. Do I hear a motion that the school board approves VSBA policy section I, instruction?
Move that we approve the I instruction.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand.
Abstain.
Okay, all those opposed? 2 abstains. Okay. The blank summative superintendent's evaluation form. Do I hear a motion that the school board approves the blank summative superintendent's evaluation form as presented? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I want to point out that the 2 sections that were added was the first section and the last section on the evaluation form. And the old form, Ms. Smiley and I went through, and we did make some changes on the old form, and that's reflected into this new form. I placed a copy at everybody's chair last month. Ms. Shuttleworth put it on the email for you to read before we came. So I hope you had a chance to look over it.
Thank you to the 2 of you for doing that work. All in favor of adopting this summative superintendent's evaluation form, raise your right hand. All those opposed?
Abstain.
1 opposed, 2 abstain. Employee benefits administrator. Do I hear a motion that the school board awards the employee benefits administrator contract to RCM and D? Is
Name, is that the name of their company? Is that the name? Just RMC and D.
It's RCM and D is the company. Okay, someone that was not at the last meeting, make the motion. Need someone.
Is that because it didn't pass last month?
I don't think much of anything passed from what I saw. Everything was voted against, so.
But what I'm saying, because it
Yes,
didn't pass.
yes.
That's why it was pushed to action.
Yes.
I make a motion that we approve the employee benefits administrator.
Do I hear a second? All those in favor of, excuse me, okay. I have to make the second. I'll second that motion. Can I do that as the chair? Okay. I second the motion that, that we approve RCM and D as the company that.
So you were still asking.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed?
Abstain.
It's 5-4. 5. Yeah, thank you. Keep me straight, Mr. Preview, keep me straight. Okay. I'm sure it is. This one also was voted down last month, so it would have to be someone that was not here to make the motion. This is a resolution concerning the funding of public education in Virginia. The school board adopts the resolution I make the motion that the school board adopts the resolution concerning the funding of public education in Virginia. Do I hear a second?
Second.
For discussion, I'd like to make a comment that I cannot believe that a school board would vote down an opportunity to send a resolution of support for getting more funding for public education, and that's exactly what happened last month. So I'm glad that we brought this back forward. The VSBA is lobbying for this. Other school divisions have passed this, if I'm not mistaken, most of them.
It was told to us in Richmond over 100 school boards had passed it, and the ones that I talked to last week in Richmond had not had their January meeting to approve it.
So this would help us to send the resolution of support to the General Assembly asking for more funding for public education.
This works. The VSBA is our voice in the General Assembly. It has worked. Our last resolution we sent to reform the SOLs, reducing the number of SOLs. They listened to us. And then most of the people I've heard talking about is, for example, lottery funds. Oh, you're getting so much money from lottery funds. I think that's the way the lottery was sold to us at the beginning, but 100% of the lottery funds have taken the place of general funds from the General Assembly. So not only are we taking millions of dollars of cuts, they're using the money from the lottery is not extra. It's replacing general funds. And we have to maintain the quality of education in Virginia, we need to have adequate funding.
Any further discussion? All those in favor for to adopt the resolution concerning the public funding of education in Virginia, please raise your right hand. All those opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, we will move on to school board member remarks and liaison remarks. We'll start with Ms. Mills.
Good evening. Since we did not have a presentation this month, I would like to congratulate everybody that got recognized tonight, and kudos to Parkview High School Rose Literature class for making that amazing Beowulf movie. That was great. Other than that, I have no remarks. Thank you.
SWAG staff.
I thoroughly enjoyed movie night as well. I think we should give them a budget next time. But I think it's painfully obvious that offering our employees competitive pay, the groups that are on the lower scale should be a budget priority this year. And I'm thinking back to one of the best lessons I got, I guess, in the initial board member training. When you think about what we as board members do, is we have to take so much information, we have so much research, so much reading to do, so much input, and then we're supposed to vote our conscience. That's what we do. We vote. That's all we really do. We have no power other than in a meeting with our vote. So he told me, he said, that's what you do. You vote your conscience, one. You vote yes or no, and that way you're able to tell your constituents why you voted the way you did for each vote. All of our votes are online on our board doc, so you can go back and see how any board member voted on any item. And he also said you should only abstain when you have a direct conflict. You vote, that's our job, is to vote. So you vote yes or no, then explain why you voted the way you do if your constituents want to know. But when you abstain, your constituents aren't represented for that vote. Your constituents have had they're not represented for that vote, so they can't even hold you accountable if you abstain. So I just want to that was one of the first board member lessons I learned, and it stuck with me, and I do appreciate continually learning. I think we need to create lifelong learners, and I think we have education is quickly changing to keep up to date. Thank you.
Mr. Perrier.
Ma'am, I just have one comment, Ms. Tanner. I just like to make sure that you follow up with Mr. Wood and make sure we find out some clarification on the superintendent code of conduct. That's all.
Got it on my list.
Please make sure. Thank you.
Ms. Hicks? No comment. Mr. Edwards?
Yeah, I'd like to say something. Last night, I went to the Martin Luther King Freedom Banquet. I'd never attended before, and it was an experience that I really enjoyed. And I'll tell you something else. I was really proud to have Mr. Sturtevant as our guest speaker. He was a guest speaker last night, and he talked about education, and he really made some fine points, and I think those points must have hit home because we've got representation from that group here tonight, and so I'm hoping that we'll get more input. And but I was proud that we had a school board member represented as guest speaker, and I just wish you all could have been there because I felt kind of lonesome. That's all I got.
Mr. Wilson?
I'd also like to congratulate all of the presentations and the movie. We do have the ongoing issue of graduation, and originally me and Macy met with Dr. Thornton and Ms. Somerville Maggette to come up with solutions, and Macy presented that last month, and recently last week Central Office came up with new possible solutions that I think are better, that also ensure that the government school and associate's degree programs and certificate receivers will get to walk across the stage in Alberta this summer. And I think that next month, when whatever decision is made by the survey is implemented, we'll have more input on how that goes and present on that.
Mr. Sturtevant?
Yeah, last night we talked about a lot about education. I feel it is the most important thing that we need to address. I hope that in the near future we can get some new facilities that our children deserve and need. And I look forward to working with you this year, Ms. Tanner.
Thank you. Ms. Garner?
I would like to thank Ms. Kinley for bringing her Beowulf people here. I'm taking the initiative to invite everybody to go see Ms. Shores fall off the donkey tomorrow night at 7 o'clock.
Mr. Bullock? Ms.
Hope she
Smiley?
doesn't fall.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Emma again for winning the spelling bee, and kudos to Parkview's team that developed the movie. What an excellent example of collaborative learning with putting together that movie. I got excited when they came in with the rubber hand because I'm a big fan of The Walking Dead. I was like, yay, another segment tonight. But excellent job, and looking forward to working with our fellow board members in a positive school year this year. Thank you.
Dr. Thornton? Okay. I want to thank everyone that supported me tonight for the chairman, and also supported Ms. Smiley for vice chair. We will be working collaboratively. We will be working together, and hopefully we will be able to make this a good experience for all board members and open the communication that may or may not have been there. I want to thank Mr. Prieur and Mr. Bullock for their service over the last few years. They've been excellent, and again, I will be turning to them for guidance as we move forward. Ms. Garner, Mr. Bullock, and I attended a parliamentary procedure workshop at the VSBA conference. It was like getting water out of a fire hose because it was so much information all at one time. And as Ms. Garner said, she wishes that they would do it again. I would like for us to have a retreat or a workshop where we have someone come in and walk us through parliamentary procedure so that we can change the way that we do business so that it's more efficient, and that we stick to our agenda and stick to what's important, and that's our children. So I will be sending out trying to get research to find someone to come in and help us with that. They already had ordered these books for us, Robert's Rules of Order. It was an eye-opener to see just how we have not really been following that in years past, and this goes back even, for several years. And there are things that we could do to improve. There are ways that we can change our agenda, and that's not taking the board member remarks off, but maybe moving it to a different place in the agenda, so that if there are issues that you want to bring up during the agenda, they can be talked about at that point. So we'll look at that. I may change the agenda around just a little bit next month to coincide with what we learned and get that information out to you. And then, like I said, hopefully we can plan something where we can all sit down and go through this and walk through the procedure, the proper procedures. I hope everyone has a safe trip home tonight, and I look forward to seeing you again at the next meetings. Yes, ma'am. Yes. I've got to get back to, if you look at the agenda preparations, we have February 5th as the interim reports go home. The professional development day is February 13th. The school board, regular school board meeting is the 16th, and do we have a date for the? Okay, we need a date, now I see. We need a date between, for the first week of February, through the 2nd through the 6th, and I checked my schedule, I will be here on the 5th that week, and possibly the 6th. So if you will look at those dates for February 5th or 6th. They're looking at the 5th. They want to do it during the day so that the principals, the administrators can bring in their information and the things that they want for this budget session. So they're bringing it directly to us, their list. Could be day or not, okay. I thought you, in the original email, you said you wanted to do it during the day so that they were here. Day is better than, okay. We'll send out the information for the for the budget work session. Did I cover everything? Okay. Do I hear a motion that we adjourn? We are adjourned.